Have Toronto real estate prices now hit the bottom, and are we going to see them go back up? So I saw this interesting chart the other day as I was scrolling. It caught my attention because there's so many people that are debating this question right now. And I think it's worth breaking down the chart and see how we finally hit the bottom of the market, or is there still room to fall? And I think summarizing exactly what people are saying about the market, because there's a lot of obviously heated topics and a lot of different opinions on this. I'm also going to give you a little bit of my own perspective at the end. So basically what this chart does is it plots Toronto's housing prices over several decades against a trend line. And when you look back, you can see a very clear pattern. The prices shoot up well above the line during the hot markets, and then sooner or later they cool off and drift back down toward it. And right now, we've come down sharply from the pandemic highs in 2022, which, if you can remember, were some of the fastest increases in prices that we've seen. And at this point right now, we're sitting on or even slightly below that trend line. And historically, prices in Toronto haven't dipped below this trend line before. Some people are looking at this and saying, well, maybe this is our floor. Others are saying, look, the line on the graph isn't magical. It's not going to bounce off that line. If the fundamentals aren't there, this could easily go lower. Now, when you read through what people are saying, about what people are saying about this particular chart, you can see some big themes. First, a lot of people point out that real estate is cyclical. Higher highs are usually followed by lower lows, and no trend line prevents that. Secondly, several people have said that the 2010s were an anomaly. We had ultra low interest rates that effectively created aggressive stimulus after 2008 and a massive immigration wave all at once. Those conditions created a decade of price growth that we may never see again in the future. And some people are also focusing on the fundamentals, right? So we have obviously the job market strength, wage growth, investor demand, and saying that those things are what really set the floor of housing prices, not a graph, not a trend line. And then you also got the supply and demand tension. On one hand, we've got high immigration and not enough new housing starts. And on the other, some point out a lot of boomer-owned homes will come to the market that could add supply over the next 5 to 10 years. Meanwhile, the comment, I noticed a lot of renters running numbers and saying if home prices just drop a little bit more, owning might finally make sense. Now, others think rising unemployment and affordability pressures will keep pushing prices lower regardless. Now, let's add a little bit of historical context into this chart because I think it really helps. So if you look back at late 1980s, early 1990s, Toronto had a huge run up in home prices and then a pretty painful correction that lasted several years after. There's obviously no magic point where it bounced back. We really didn't get back to the peak for almost a decade. Now, that doesn't mean the same thing will happen now moving forward, right? The market is very different. The demographics are different. The policies are totally different. But it's a good reminder that corrections can take longer and are choppier than what people expect to see. Now, here's what I'm seeing on the ground, right? Now, demand hasn't totally disappeared. It definitely is not what it used to be, right? People still need a place to live. There's still going to be people that have to buy. There are buyers that have to get in, but a lot of them are still sitting on the sidelines because of the rate and all the uncertainty happening. That creates a weird standoff between the buyers and sellers right now. You have sellers hoping for last year's prices or 3 years ago prices, while buyers are waiting for a better deal, right? There's no rush for them. And the quality of the property honestly matters too, right? Those really nice properties in good areas, or let's say larger condos, are getting more interest, where just the average home or the average condo are seeing sitting times that are much longer. And again, cycles like this take time. If history rhymes, corrections aren't over in just a couple of years. They can stretch out to 5 to 10 years. Now, obviously, if you are a buyer with a long-term time horizon, today's market actually does, in my opinion, present a very good opportunity to buy and hold long-term because you just have less competition. You're able to go in, negotiate, put a lot of conditions into your offer. You can take your time and do a lot of due diligence. Things that were pretty much impossible during 2022. So what do I personally think about the market? It's tough to say, but the way things are shaping up, I think we could easily get a rebound the way things are shaping up, especially if we get more interest rate cuts. But at the same time, my mind is kind of looking at the economics of Canada and how they continue to deteriorate, especially the unemployment rate, our general economy. The numbers do not look good, which could bring prices lower. But for how much lower, for how long? That is the main question. So let me know what you guys think of that.